Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 5th June 2021. First of all, I want to wish you a very happy World's Environment Day. So, I want you people to plant at least one plant on this Environment Day every year, and you should also promote for our environment. Okay. So this is from request from my side. So please plant at least one sapling every year on this World Environment Day. And let us try from ourselves or individual selves to protect our climate. So now let's get started with our discussion and let us see first topic. Title says RBI hold rates, cut GDP forecast. So this article mainly talking about our GDP forecast by RBI, and RBI is also coming up with this accommodative policy, accommodative monetary policy this time. So already because of this COVID-19 situation, so RBI came up with this accommodative policy because of imposition of lockdowns to control this transmission of COVID-19 in country. Then what happened? That led to restriction of economic activity, restriction of movement of vehicles, right? So because of all these things, we saw there is economic contraction. So whenever there is economic contraction, here government also takes some steps, and even RBI will also take some steps, right? So RBI came up with this accommodative monetary policy or accommodative stance for economic revival. So because of this, it kept a policy rate unchanged. So this is some background. So how this article will be important and what you have to focus on this article. So you have to focus on what is this monetary policy committee and some facts regarding this, and also you need to look at key policy rates, for example CRR, and as well as repo rate, reverse repo rate, and as well as a marginal standing facility, LF, etc. So you have to remember that will be important from prelims point of view. So now we are going to see context why it is in news, and as well as some important details and also some important facts. Okay. So this article will be important regarding economy, which comes under GS paper 3. So first let us see context. So if you see context, it mainly says that RBI left benchmark interest rate unchanged and reiterated that it would retain its accommodative stance for as long as necessary. Okay. So what is this accommodative policy? So if you're talking about a monetary policy, we are having mainly we can say expansionist policy and as well as contraction policy. So expansion mainly it is also called as accommodative policy. So in this policy, RBI want to increase money supply in market. So whenever there is money supply increased in market, that will lead to increase in demand for goods and services, and that will lead to economic revival. So because of this, now in this COVID-19 situation, we need recovery from our economy, right? So we are facing economic contraction and we need to come out of this contraction. Finally, we need to revive our economy. So because of this, RBI said that again it is going to retain this accommodative stance as long as necessary. Mainly RBI want to revive and sustain growth on durable basis. So till this is achieved, here RBI which is going to have accommodative stance. So because of this interest rates which is unchanged. Okay, so this is context. I hope it is clear. And in this context, RBI also came up with a forecast. So it said that we are going to have GDP of 9.5%. So this is context. And now let us see some important details. So if you see details, it mainly says that policy rate which is kept unchanged, it is 4%. And because of sudden rise in COVID-19 infections and sudden rise in deaths in the second wave of a global pandemic, so it impaired nascent recovery. So earlier, so in Q1, we saw contraction of 23.5% of our GDP. In Q2, we saw contraction of 7.5%. In Q3, we saw there is some signs of positive, that is 0.5%. And again in quarter 4, we experienced this second wave of this coronavirus. So because of this, there is sudden increase in COVID-19 cases, and as well as there is increase in deaths or fatalities. So because of this, again it impaired nascent recovery, because in second wave of this coronavirus, again there is increase in number of cases. To control that cases, government went for imposition of night curfews and as well as imposition of lockdowns again, right? So because of this, again it disrupted supply chains, and finally again we went back to our economic crisis. So in this context, here RBI mainly says what can be done or what is need. Here need is, we can revamp vaccination drive. So vaccination drive, it is one of important solution to control this transmission of this COVID-19. So whenever we want to come up with unlock phase also, so we need to go for full vaccination drive. And we need to bridge gaps in healthcare infrastructure, because this second wave of this coronavirus mostly affected rural people, and these rural areas, they do not have proper healthcare infrastructure and are facing a lot of problems. So because of this, we need to bridge, or we need to come down, or we need to reduce the gap in healthcare infrastructure also. And finally, we need to mitigate pandemic devastation. So these are some things we can do mainly to decrease this COVID-19 impact on our economy. So if you're talking about some facts regarding this Monetary Policy Committee, so it is a statutory body which mainly institutionalized framework under RBI Act of 1934. So because of this, it is called as a statutory body. So if you're talking about any bodies, here we are having statutory bodies and as well as constitutional bodies. Statutory bodies means whenever they are established under any act, they are called as statutory bodies. And whenever any bodies which are established under articles of Indian Constitution, they are called as constitutional bodies, right? So this is the difference you need to remember, especially for beginners. They don't know about what are these statutory bodies and what are these constitutional bodies. So I tried to explain this. And if you already know about this, it will be useful for revision also, right? So if you're talking about this monetary policy, which is helpful in maintaining price stability in market, and we need to keep in mind objectives of growth. So we need to keep in mind about objectives of economic growth in country, and in the same time this MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee, which mainly focuses on price stability in the market. And if you're talking about formation of this Monetary Policy Committee, so RBI appointed this committee and it led by Deputy Governor, that is Urjit Patel. So Urjit Patel in 2014, he recommended for establishment of this Monetary Policy Committee. And if you're talking about chairperson, Governor of RBI, he will be ex officio chairman. So what is ex officio chairman? What is the meaning of ex officio? For example, whoever the chairman of RBI, he need to be chairman of this committee. Okay. So for example, if you are talking about Rajya Sabha, so for Rajya Sabha, who is the chairman? Chairman will be ex officio person. Okay, that is vice president will be chairman. He is ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. That means whoever the vice president may be, so he should act as chairman of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so this is meaning of ex officio. So here Governor of RBI will be ex officio chairman of this committee. And if you are talking about members of this committee, there are 6 members including chairman. So 3 members from officials of RBI and 3 are external members. They are nominated by Government of India. So this is about membership. And if you are talking about key terms, so this will be very important for prelims point of view. So first and foremost is repo rate and reverse repo rate. In our PIB analysis today, we also discussed about this, what is this repo rate and reverse repo rate. So to understand this, I will give you a simple example. Here we have RBI and here we have banks. So banks, they go to RBI and they will bring money or loans from RBI. So on this loans, whatever interest rate which is given by banks to RBI, so that interest rate, it is called as repo rate. Repo rate means interest rate which is paid by banks to RBI. So reverse repo rate, which is opposite to this. So whenever RBI which is getting money from banks, So on that money, RBI will pay interest rate to banks, that is called as reverse repo rate. So one important fact you should remember here is always reverse repo rate which is less compared to that of this repo rate. So this is about repo and reverse repo rate. And next one is liquidity adjustment facility. So it is a tool which allows banks to borrow through repurchase agreements for banks or to make loans through RBI through reverse repo agreements. Through reverse repo agreements, whenever banks are getting something from banks or RBI, that is called as a liquidity adjustment facility. And what is bank rate? Bank rate means RBI will give loans or funds to commercial banks, right? So here what is the rate that is charging by RBI, that is called as a bank rate. Bank rate means rate charged by RBI for lending funds to commercial banks. And next one is marginal standing facility, that is MSF. So it is a window for scheduled banks to borrow overnight from RBI in emergency situation, that is called as a marginal standing facility. So there is some difference between repo rate and MSF. So let me know in comment box. Okay, so this is your first homework now. And next one is cash reserve ratio. So banks, they need to require to hold a certain portion of their deposits in form of cash with RBI. So that is called as a cash reserve ratio. So these are some important key terms that you should remember regarding this topic. I hope it is clear. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says India records most cases worldwide. So this article mainly talking about COVID-19 cases. So this topic will be important regarding health, which comes under GS paper 2. So now let us try to discuss this topic in a very great detail. Context mainly says that India recorded 1.13 lakh new cases within 24 hours and there are about 2k deaths that are recorded within 24 hours. So if you see why I chose this article, because it sets some important and new information. So here if you see details, it mainly says that new infections, they are declining, okay, in throughout world, but in India we are continues to record most number of daily cases in the world. Okay, so if you see here, if there are 3 infections they got recorded across world, so out of these 3, one case which is mainly recorded in India. And if there are 3 deaths that are happening in the world, so out of this, 1 death which is mainly seen in India. So because of this, here we can say there is high transmissibility of this coronavirus and the death rate also high, that is seen here, right? And average daily test positive rate which is a 5.5% in June, and if you are comparing with the last month, that is in May, that is 10.4%. So I want to give you one homework and I want to make you think in a new direction, like, so why there are most number of transmissions and as well as deaths that are seen in India. So let me know some possible reasons what you might think. For example, we can say we are having double mutant virus and we are having less infrastructure and we are facing many constraints in our healthcare infrastructure. So you can add some reasons and let me know 5 to 6 reasons, 5 to 6 possible reasons for high number of cases are recorded in India. So this is your second homework and don't forget about this. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says DAC. DAC stands for Defense Acquisition Council, not for building 6 conventional submarines. So this topic will be important regarding defense, which comes under GS paper 3. So what you have to focus in this article, you need to know what is the submarines first. And second one is you need to know about what is Project 75I. And you have to know some important details here. Okay. So first of all, if you are talking about the submarines, we have 2 types of submarines. First one is nuclear submarines. Second one is diesel electric submarines. Here this article mainly talking about conventional submarines, right? So this conventional submarines which mainly comes under this diesel and electric submarines. Okay, so now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail and I will try my level best to make you understand about this topic. So this topic will be very important from static and also current affairs point of view from science and technology. So first let us see context. So here Defence Acquisition Council. So this council mainly headed by our Defence Minister approved issuance of request for proposal, that is RFP, for construction of 6 conventional submarines under this Project 75I. So we are having this Project 75I here. So under this project, Defence Minister approved for issuance of request for proposal for construction of 6 conventional submarines. So here estimated cost for this 6 conventional submarines is rupees 43,000 crore. So if you are talking about the details, it mainly says that Defence Acquisition Council approved procurement of air defense guns and as well as ammunition for army. So these are some important details. And what is significance? So if you say significance, whenever we are going for building of this 6 conventional submarines under our Project 675I, so it is one of landmark approval by this Defence Acquisition Council, and it is a first case processed under strategic partnership model. And this would be one of largest Make in India projects. So here in this context, we are also boosting our Make in India, and this project will also help to create industrial ecosystem for submarine construction in India. So these are some important significance. So whenever we are going for this strategic partnership model, so it is mainly aiming to promote role of Indian industry in manufacturing, and also it will be helpful to build domestic defense industry or ecosystem in India. So what is significance? So first one is we can go into for the first time we are going through the strategic partnership model, and as well as it is one of largest Make in India project, and as well as it will be very much helpful to create industrial development for construction of the submarines in India, and will also helpful for promotion of role of Indian industries in manufacturing and as well as building of domestic defense equipment also. So these are some important significance. And now let us move on to what is submarines, and let us try to understand the submarines. So submarines means it is a naval vessel mainly capable of propelling itself beneath water and as well as on water surface. So if there is any sea or ocean, whenever we are taking that submarine there, it will be mainly present beneath this water level, and sometimes it will be come upwards, okay, mainly to take some oxygen levels. Okay, so this submarines, it is a first became a major factor in naval warfare during World War I itself. So for the first time, this submarine mainly used in American Revolution. Okay, in World War I also it became one of major factor in naval warfare. And first of all, Germany used it to destroy surface merchant vehicles. Okay, Germany first used this submarines in World War I to destroy surface merchant vessels, and in World War II also it played a significant role or similar role that played in World War I. So later on in 1960s, nuclear powered submarines that came into picture, and these nuclear powered submarines, they are capable of remaining underwater for months. Okay, so because of this we don't know exact location where is the submarines which are located, right? And they are also having capability for fire long range nuclear missiles without coming to surface, and in this way they become an important strategic weapon platform nowadays in warfare. So these are about some facts regarding the submarines, and in these submarines we are having 2 submarines, nuclear and as well as diesel electric submarines. So diesel electric submarines are also called as conventional submarines. So these nuclear submarines, they can stay beneath water for months. They will not come to surface regularly as this diesel electric submarines that will come. Okay, so these are about types of submarines. And now let us talk about what is this Project 75I. So this program, it is come up by Indian Army. So this Project 75I, which mainly entails building 6 Scorpion class attack submarines, and this program undertaken transfer of technology mainly from French naval company or naval group. And if you're talking about the submarines, they are powered by conventional diesel electric propulsion system. Okay, So under this project 75, whichever submarines we are going to construct, that will be based on this conventional diesel electric propulsion system. And next one is, what is this diesel electric submarines? So these diesel electric submarines, they mainly use diesel to convert electricity to power the submarines, and they will come to surface frequently, mainly to take some air, such that it can also helpful for charging of batteries. So to avoid this, mainly if we don't want to make these submarines to come to surface, we can go for installing of air independent propulsion system. So it will mainly decreases this movement of submarines to a surface of water regularly. So these are some important things that should remember regarding this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says a Delta variant led to most post-vaccine infections in Delhi. So this article mainly talking about Delta variant. So recently we studied about Alpha variant, Beta variant, Delta variant and Kappa variant, right? So UK variant is called as Alpha, South African variant is called as Beta, Indian double mutant virus is called as Delta, okay? So in India we are having double mutant virus, okay, that is B1617, and in this also we are having three strains, B16171, B16172, B16173, and out of this B1672 is called as a Delta variant and other variants is called as Kappa variant, okay? So this article mainly talking about this Delta variant, that is B16172. It is one of important reason for post-vaccine infection. That means after taking vaccine also, so people they are getting this COVID-19, right? So because what is the reason? Reason here is Delta variant. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 3 under Science and Technology, and also this will be important regarding GS paper 2 under Health. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So context says that variant Delta, that is B16172, it is one of most pervasive variant of coronavirus in India. So out of 4, 3 they are having infections with this variant. So this is according to research study by scientists in Delhi. So if you see details here, it mainly says that so this variant which is having high rate of transmissibility, and it is mainly accelerated surge of infections in India. So these are some important highlights of this study which is done by scientists in Delhi. And in this context, the scientists also found that 2 lineage dominated, that is B1617 Kappa, it is mainly contributing 8% of infections, and on other side Delta variant which is causing 76% of infections, and other infections mainly caused by B1 lineage. So what is cause of concern here? So if you say cause of concern, B16172, which is also known as Delta variant of this coronavirus, which is most dominant one that is seen in India, and there is high rate of transmissibility and as well as high rate of positivity that is seen among this. And next one is, in this is very much special because 12 mutations are seen in its spike protein when we are comparing with this SARS coronavirus 2 that was found or discovered in China. So these are some important details that should remember regarding this topic. And not only this here, so there are many studies mainly says that a study by Public Health Engineering, it said that Pfizer and AstraZeneca vaccines, they were only 33% effective against this symptomatic disease from this B16172, okay? So they are only 33% effective against this. And because of this 12 mutations that is seen in spike protein, so because of this here ACE2 enzyme, which is mainly aiding or helping its entry into cells, okay, because the mutations are mainly seen in spike proteins, and these spike proteins are very much responsible for entering into cells. So this is ACE2 receptor, and this is spike protein of this coronavirus that will come and that will bind to this receptor, and finally that will enter inside the cell and it will start replication, right? So because of some changes or mutations in this spike protein, So it is mainly helping the entry of coronavirus around these mutations. For example, it is having L452R and T476K. So this is about this topic. Now let us move on to next topic. Title says Serum Institute, which gets DCGI, Drug Controller General of India, nod to produce Sputnik 5. So again, your third homework is please do some research regarding this. What is this Drug Controller General of India? Because I already discussed number of times regarding this topic. So it is your turn now to revise that and let me know some facts regarding this DCGI in comment box. So now let's come back. So Serum Institute gets DCGI nod to produce Sputnik 5. So how this article will be important? So you need to know about what is the Sputnik 5 and what is the role of this DCGI in giving nod for production of this Sputnik 5. So if you're talking about the Sputnik 5, it is a Russian vaccine, COVID-19 vaccine, right? So now we are having only 2 vaccine candidates that got emergency use authorization in India, and we are using those 2 vaccine candidates, that is Covaxin and next one is Covishield. So we are using Covaxin and Covishield vaccine candidates in our vaccination rollout. But regarding this, we are having one cause of concern, like there is no proper production. That means production level which is not meeting demand. So because of this, we decreased vaccine rollout, number of vaccines rollout recent days. So because of this, we need to take help from other countries to transfer technology or to import or to export this Sputnik 5 or otherwise vaccines like Pfizer, so and so. That will help to meet our demand. So this is about some background. So this topic will be important regarding GS paper 2 under health again. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. First, let us see context. Here DCGI has granted permission to Serum Institute of India to manufacture Sputnik 5 COVID-19 vaccine in India regarding examination, testing and analysis with certain conditions. So if you see details, it mainly says that Pune based firm has collaborated with Gamaleya Research Institute of Epidemiology and Microbiology mainly for developing of this Sputnik 5 vaccine. And in this context, DCGI granted permission to Serum Institute of India to manufacture Sputnik, but it placed some 4 conditions. So first one is here Serum Institute of India that need to submit a copy of agreement, okay. So this Serum Institute of India that need to submit a copy of agreement that between here Serum Institute of India and as well as Gamaleya Institute regarding agreement of transfer of cell bank as well as virus stock and also technological transfer. And next one is a copy of permission to import this cell bank and as well as virus stock that should be submitted by this Serum Institute of India. And next one is permission to initiate research and development of viral vector vaccine. So this to be submitted. Then it will provide some emergency use or permission to produce this Sputnik 5 in India. So now let us talk about some facts regarding the Sputnik 5. So Sputnik 5, it is a vector based vaccine. So here we are using vector. So vector we are mainly using 2 types of vectors, 2 strains of vector. So that is adenovirus. So we are using this adenovirus vector. So after taking this vector, we are introducing spike protein molecules or spike protein contents into this vector, and finally we are injecting into humans. Here humans, this adenovirus, it is inactivated and it is not causing any harm after entering into our body. So here our immune system will recognize that spike proteins as antigens and they will start produce this antibodies here. So in this way, this vaccine mainly works. So this is about gist of this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says 2 cheers. So this article mainly talk about analysis of recent Sustainable Development Goal Index, which mainly released by Niti Aayog. So you have to remember this for sure. So this SDG India Index will be released by Niti Aayog. So this will be important films fact. So this topic will be important regarding GS paper 2 under governance. And this topic will be important exclusively from mains point of view. So now let us try to discuss this topic in a very great detail. So here SDGs, that is Sustainable Development Goals. So this article mainly says that India, which is in a right direction regarding clean energy, urban development, and as well as health. So in these areas, India, it is performing very good. And India improved overall SDG score, that is from 60 in 2019 to 66 in 2021 because of improvement in these areas like clean energy, urban development, and as well as health. So this is mainly according to Niti Aayog SDG India Index 2020 to 2021. So this Niti Aayog SDG Index, it mainly says that India improved in clean energy, urban development, and health, and that led to increase or improved overall SDG score from 60 in 2019 to 66 in 2021. So this is according to Niti Aayog's SDG India Index 2020 to 21. So besides this SDGs, so we are also focusing on eradication of poverty and as well as hunger. And there are a number of measures which are taken related to this, right? For example, we came up with affordable and as well as we came up with affordable clean energy, and that led to some improvements in many states and as well as union territories. So if you see here this article saying that the campaign to improve access to household regarding electricity and clean cooking fuel is also important factors that led to improve our ranking in this SDG index. So if you are talking about concerns, there are some major decline regarding in some areas like area of industry, innovation, infrastructure, decent work, and economic growth. So these are some of areas which are mainly seeing some decline, and because of this global pandemic now, it make much worse now because of lockdowns which are imposed by government to control this COVID-19 transmission. Okay, and we are also having some concerns like there is difference between southern states and as well as northern states. And next one is there is also persisting socio-economic and governance disparities that is seen, and these all things they are left unaddressed now. So because of this, that led to exacerbating of federal challenges and as well as outcomes. And there is also lack of adequate measurements of economic inequality. So these are some concerns which are mainly raised by this article. So if you see conclusion, it mainly says that we already seeing some improvement in this SDGs, achieving of our sustainable development goals. So it is bringing some type of happiness and cheer in ourselves. But in the same thing, we are also having some concerns. So government must work on addressing this pressing issues like inequality, which is increasing now, and it is further will increase because of this COVID-19 pandemic and as well as economic despair. So this is just of this topic, and I hope it is clear. Now let us move on to next topic. Title says saving biodiversity, securing Earth's future. So now we are celebrating today as World's Environment Day. So because of this, there are two editorials which appeared in today's newspaper regarding this environment. So one article talking about this National Biodiversity Mission, and next article which is going to discuss it is talking about COP Conference of Parties 26. So these both articles will be important from environment. So environment will be one of important topic, and from environment point of view in your mains especially, you can expect current affairs based questions. So this type of articles will be giving you much content to write answers. So please focus on this, and please try to read this article at least twice after listening to this lecture. So this article will be important regarding environment and ecology, which comes under GS paper 3. And this article especially talking about National Biodiversity Mission. And this article will be important regarding mains point of view. So now let us try to talk about this topic in a very great detail. So this article gave introduction about how biodiversity which is affecting people, and as well as how we are losing biodiversity, and it gave some data, and finally it moved on to National Biodiversity Mission and what are advantages and as well as one important key features of this National Biodiversity Mission. So if you see this article mainly talking about National Biodiversity Mission. So on this World Environment Day, so we are facing this global pandemic, that is novel coronavirus. So in this way, this event, this novel coronavirus, which mainly reflect that the ways we have developing our relationship, or we are rebuilding our relationship with nature. So there are varied ecosystems which are present across around our surroundings. Like we are having land, rivers, oceans, and we are feeding our people. So because of this, whenever we are having good balance here, then that will mainly enhance public health security, and also that will help to shield us from environment disasters. So if you're talking, this article mainly says that our biodiversity, which also serves as a perpetual source, like a spiritual enrichment, and it's also provide some enrichment in our life, and as well as it is also linked to our physical and as well as mental well-being. So how it is related to physical and mental well-being? So for example, if you are living in an urban area and around your area there will be houses or big buildings, then what happen in urban areas? We are seeing urban heat island. That means at the evening time or afternoon time we are having high temperature. But if you are living in a rural area, if you are having a small hut like thing, and if you are having big trees around your place, then you will be feeling like very cool and you love that atmosphere, right? So because of this, what happened wherever you are living, so biodiversity which will be also helpful, that will also link to our mental well-being. Okay, so if you are seeing small animals, and if you are if you are having any pets, then you will be having good bonding or attachment with your pets, right? So because of this, whenever you are feeling stressed, whenever if you are playing with your pets for at least 5 to 10 minutes, then it will give you mental refreshness. Okay, so because of this, your biodiversity which is ultimately linked to our physical and as well as mental well-being. So if you are talking about value of forest, so ecosystem which mainly serves which ecosystem services which is mainly provided by our biodiversity, it may not be known, but estimates mainly suggest that forest alone, they may yield services of worth more than ₹1 trillion per every year. So here this forests are providing efficient services, and estimates mainly says that forests alone, they make yield services of more than ₹1 billion per year, ₹1 trillion per year. But we are facing one cause of concern. So what is this concern here is that will decrease biodiversity. So here we are going for deforestation. So because of this deforestation, we are making this forest lands into our agricultural lands. That is mainly reducing biodiversity. Globally, we are losing 7% of intact forests since 2000. So this data says that we lost already 7% of forest. So because of this, whenever 7% of forest that we lost globally, so over 1 million species that used to be habitat of this species, that has been lost, right? So million species are also lost, and as well as forests also lost here. So in this context, preserving of biodiversity is very important, and this preserving of biodiversity is also directly relevant to social, economic, and also environmental well-being. In this context, we need to rethink about One Health. That means we need to connect health of plants, animals, and humans into one. Okay. So if you're talking about investments, so recently in 2018, our Prime Minister came up with the Science, Technology, Innovation Advisory Council, made in consultation with the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and as well as other ministries, and they approved a national mission on biodiversity and well-being. So this mission that will strengthen science of restoring and as well as conserving, and also sustainable to utilize India's natural heritage too. So this will be helpful mainly to deal particularly in fields like agriculture, ecosystem services, health, bioeconomy, and as well as a climate change mitigation. And finally, it will also helpful for enhancing of capacity across all sectors. And in this context, the pandemic mainly exposed dysfunctional relationship between humanity and nature. So what is need? The need here is we need to address infectious diseases, we need to address problem of lack of food and nutrition security, and we need to address number of problems like unemployment and as well as climate change. So mainly to address these conditions, we need to go for taking about some mitigation programs that need to have less impacts on climate change, and that need to address natural disasters, pandemics, and also even floods. Okay, So in this context, we need to go for rejuvenation of our agriculture production system. So whenever we are rejuvenating our agriculture production system, that will finally increase income of rural people, and finally it will be also helpful for developing or rejuvenation of biodiversity in agriculture. And whenever we are rejuvenating agriculture, then that will create millions of green jobs in restoration of nature tourism. And in this restoration, we can go for restoration of degraded lands, such that it will create green jobs, and as well as it will create millions of jobs. So in this context, here we need to go for achieving targets of this Convention of Biodiversity and as well as United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, like poverty alleviation, justice and equality, and protection of life. So whenever we are going for this type of agriculture production systems, that will also helps to deal with this some sustainable development goals like poverty alleviation, that is SDG 2, and we can also promote justice and equality, and as well as we can protect the lives of many rural people. So this mission mainly offers nature-based solutions also that will be helpful for tackling of numerous environment challenges. For example, degradation of rivers, degradation of forests, degradation of soils, etc. And it will be also helpful mainly to address ongoing threats from climate change. So because of this climate change, we saw there is a glacier retreat is happening, and as well as there is melting of glaciers, that will further leads to increase in sea water level. So because of this increase in sea water level, many islands which are present, they will be submerged, and India is also having a long coast. So this coastal area will be inundated, and the people who live in this coastal area, they will move inside. That will lead to social problems again. So because of this, we need to go for focusing on nature-based solutions, such that we can minimize ongoing challenges because of this climate change. Okay, and we can also use some scientific inputs like geospatial informatics. So this will be very much helpful to guide conservation as well as ecosystem management. So in this context, what is way forward? We can go for training professionals. We need number of training professionals mainly to make this mission successful, and we need implementation in civil society outreach for million outreaches also, and we need to go for upheld carried forward by cultural change. So we need to transfer this environment change and as well as culture change from our generation to next generation. That can be useful for millions of our students who are from kindergartens to PG students. We need to incorporate values of environment in them. So this is gist of this topic. I hope it is clear. And now let us see next article. So before seeing this article, I want to make a small announcement. So if you want to clear UPSC 2022, we came up with one excellent, highly beneficial and also highly economical course, that is current affairs package along with mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful to clear UPSC 2022? So one thing you need to remember before entering into examination hall is you need to know at least 1.5 years current affairs for sure. And this is the right time to join this course to cover this 1.5 years current affairs in a comprehensive manner. And why you need to focus on this current affairs? If you see in prelims, in mains and even interview, you can get questions from this current affairs, and you need to master current affairs to answer those questions in your interview. And next one is mains answer writing practice. Many students who are especially beginners or freshers, they ignore this mains answer writing practice. So even though with their hard work, if they clear prelims, they cannot clear mains without proper answer writing skills. So finally, I want to say one thing. Please try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. And if you join this course, we also conduct prelims test on every Sunday, and we also provide you video solutions. So in this way, this course which is mainly designed as per demand of UPSC. So for further details of this course, link which is given in description box, so please visit that once. And if you want to talk to me directly regarding this course, you can call to this number 8074765513. Now let's come back and let us see next topic. Title says the time to limit global warming is melting away. So this article mainly focusing on global warming. So what is this global warming? In simple words, there is increase in global temperature. So this is called as global warming. So this article mainly focusing on Conference of Parties 26. So this Conference of Parties will be very important from prelims and also mains point of view. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. Again, this topic will be important regarding environment and ecology, which comes under GS paper 3. Okay, so now let us try to discuss this topic. So now we are facing a difficult time for world. So we are facing mainly two challenges. First one is COVID-19 on one side. Second one is climate change on another side. So if you're talking about especially India's role in this climate change, India having a strong record in tackling of climate change, because now India came up with the domestic targets of 450 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030, and India also established this International Solar Alliance, and also we are coming up with coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. And also India played a critical role in delivering landmark Paris Agreement, and India it is in its way to achieve its Paris Climate Agreement deal. So if you're talking about, we are going to have this Conference of Parties 26th. Okay, so this is 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference of Parties. So this year it is going to be hosted by UK, that going to help from 1st to 12th November 2021. So here India and UK also committed through 2030 UK-India partnership or roadmap to work closely together best ways to drive the green growth agenda. So regarding this India and UK, we are also having a good partnership between India and UK, and we are also coming up with the best ways to drive this green growth agenda. So here this article mainly says that this COVID-19, which provides an important moment, an important time to get world to track to address enormous threats of climate change. That means that this Conference of Parties is mainly providing one platform. So in this platform, world, that is all the countries, they can address what is the enormous threat that we are facing because of this climate change, and because of this we can also build cleaner and as well as brighter future. So in 2015, world signed Paris Agreement. So under this agreement, they signed to limit global temperature rises, that is below 2 degrees Celsius, and they are aiming for 1.5 degrees Celsius here. So because we need to avoid worst effects of climate change, so because of this, world signed this Paris Agreement in 2015. And now we came up with this COP26, that is Conference of Parties 26. So it is coming up with 4 key goals. So these goals will be important for mains. So first and foremost goal here is to keep 1.5 degrees Celsius within reach of globally, that is we need to go for keeping above this global temperature 1.5 degrees. So whenever we are decreasing this global temperature, we are having number of advantages, like we can go for creating of green jobs, and as well as we can have some clean air. And next one is net zero, that is we want to go for carbon net zero. Okay, net zero emissions. That means amount of carbon dioxide which is released is equal to amount of carbon dioxide which is absorbed. So this is a net zero. So we want to go for this net zero by middle of this century. So when we want to achieve this target, so we need strong action over next decade. And next goal here is to protect people and nature from worst effects of climate change because of this global warming. And in India, we already saw that 2 cyclones that affected in both the coast, west coast and as well as east coast. So cyclone Yas and as well as cyclone Taukte. And next one is for developed countries, they need to deliver some amount, okay, that promise to deliver annually to support developing countries regarding regarding transfer of technology, and as well as to come up with climate resilient technologies, etc. here. So in this context, UK also pushing developed countries to increase their climate finance commitments also. And next one is we must work together to deliver the goals. For example, building of consensus among people, and we need to build up international collaborations, and we need to bring business and as well as civil societies together to achieve these goals of this COP26. So this is about gist of this topic. I hope it is clear. So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll this current affairs package. Thank you so much.